and secret designer religion. I think that's a very good idea. In other words, we need not go just only on one way. He speaks, for example, of on peace from Buddhism, non-violence from Jainism, social service from Christianity, fellowship from Islam. You can learn each one of these religions has a special accent. And of course in Hinduism, it's not only the theory, it's the practice. It's the abhyasa. And that I think is tremendously important. Personally for me, my designer religion will consist of at least 4 parts. The Jnana Yoga, the way of the mind. That is the way of discrimination between the real and the unreal. What Plato, for example, speaks of when he speaks of us being in a cave and being able to see only shadows on the wall of the cave. We see neither the actual objects nor the light that illuminates them. All we see are shadows. To discriminate between what is real and what is not, the Jnana Yoga is the way of the mind. That is the way par excellence of the Upanishads. Then there is the Bhakti Yoga, the way of the heart. Unless the heart opens in love and devotion to your chosen form of the divine, you're not going to be able to fly on one engine. You need the emotions to move. And therefore, we have in this bewildering array of gods and goddesses which baffle many people, simply are different forms of the divine appealing to different personalities and different types of consciousness. And so the Bhakti Yoga, I'm a worshipper of Shiva, and my one complaint about the book is he receives hardly any notice in Dr. Gautam's book. I mean, Shiva is the great. How could you write a book on Hinduism without, or mention Hinduism without mentioning Shiva and Nataraja? Nityavasane Nataraja Rayo, Nanana Vitkam Nahu Panchaparo, Uddhatu Kaman Sadakadi Siddhan, Ketat Vimarshe Shiva Sumsara. So Bhakti Yoga is the way of the heart. Jnana Yoga is the way of the mind. Bhakti Yoga is the way of the heart. Karma Yoga is the way of the arms. Kurvani he karvani, jidi vishekshitam samaha, evam tvai nanyate tosti, na karma lipite dari. Ours is not a religion that encourages us to run away into the mountains. We have to work. Gita says it, the Upanishad says it. Ishavasya, after the first much quoted verse, Ishavasya vidam sarvam yatkin jagatyam jagat, tena tyaktena bhunji sa ma vizakasya suddharam. What is the second shloka? Kurvani vihe karmani jiti visheshyatam samaha. Work here for 100 years. So if you work with a sense of dedication to the divine, all work is not karma yoga. But if you are working and offering your work to the divine, that becomes karma yoga. So the way of the mind, the way of the heart, the way of the arms, and Raja Yoga, the way of the breath. That is the important way. Of course, we breathe. When we start living, we make our first breath, and when we die, we take our last breath. So we breathe throughout our lives. But have we ever looked into our breathing? Have we ever tried to see ourselves breathing? Have we ever tried to understand what sort of wonders are contained within the breathing? And therefore my designer religion, Professor, thank you for that very nice phrase, which I'm going to use a lot now in my lectures. My designer religion combines the Jnana Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and the Raj Yoga, and combines all of these into an integral offering to Lord Shiva. That is my designer religion. With these words, I congratulate you warmly for having very well, very neatly, as I said, encapsulated the whole gamut, including Buddhism and Jainism, which are often neglected. They are great religions. Just because they didn't take Sanskrit, one took up Prakrit and the other took up Pali. That is one of the reasons why they sank below the waves, as it were. Because Sanskrit, the glory of Sanskrit cannot be equaled, I don't think, by even any of the other religions. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why both those religions faded away, but they did not accept Sanskrit. They had their own. But anyhow, I'm not going into that controversy. I'm simply saying I'm glad you included both of them, and you've made it very comprehensive. It's a textbook for young people who want to start learning about Hinduism. It's a reference book for those who want to have a quick look at this magnificent panorama that is Indian philosophy. Thank you, Professor Gautam.